Okay, so today we're going to get a couple of new ideas. Idea number one. So far, every time we've been working, we've done this and deleted this, so we just had the setup function. We are now going to start using the draw function. So things to know. Setup runs one time when this program starts. So far, so good. Background or draw loops. So everything that's in draw will happen again and again and again. So over and over at about 60 times per second. So at 60 times per second, the draw function will loop. So if I was to run this right now, we wouldn't see anything different than we normally would, which is just our gray background screen. And if I draw an ellipse at say 20, 200, make it 30 big, it would look exactly the same as if I had done it all within the setup. So far, so good. The difference is this. If I now add a variable, I'm going to create a variable called x, and we talked about variables previously, and I'm going to put that in here. If I run it again, nothing has changed, but now what I'm going to do is my next line, I'm going to say x gets x plus 1. Now when I run this, let's talk about what happens. Now the ball is moving. So what is actually happening? What is actually happening? What's actually happening is that we create a variable, name it x, set a value of 20. We create our canvas, and then we start our draw. So we do the background function, which fills the entire screen with a gray rectangle, and then I draw an ellipse at x, 200, and x has a value of 20. So I say 20, 200, and I draw my ball at 20, 200. And then I come down here, and this says x gets the current value of x plus 1. So the first time the draw runs, we say x gets x plus 1. So the current value of x is 20, so 20 plus 1 is 21. So now we get to this curly brace, and then we come back around and we loop back around. We draw our background, which again fills the entire screen with gray, erasing that previous ball. And now we draw it, and now when I get to this line, x has a value of 21. So it moves 1 pixel over from where it was the last time it drew it. So far, so good. And so we draw the new ball. And then we come down here and we say x gets the current value of x. So the current value of x is 21. So 21 plus 1 is 22. And so now the ball continues to move across the screen. So when I run this, we can see the ball is moving. I could make this faster by changing this value. I could make it 3, for example. And now the first time it draws it at 20. The next time it draws it, it'll draw it at 23. And we can see it moves faster. And that's still a small enough amount that it doesn't look too choppy. But if I made this like 30, it went really quick, right? So let's put this back at 3 for a second. I'm going to comment out the background line. So now we're not going to erase the screen every time, and we're going to run it. And now we can see every one of the balls that gets drawn. And again, if I made it 30, that's what it looks like. So now, again, the default is P5 is going to try and draw 60 pictures every second. 60 pictures every second. So, and our eyes can't perceive 60 individual images in a second. Our eyes are capable of perceiving about 4 images in a second. So if we get faster than about 4 images every second, our eye will absolutely see it as motion because it can't distinguish the difference. And so Now, if there's a lot going on the computer, that frame rate is going to slow down. It's trying for 60, but sometimes it'll be slower, and that's okay. Because as long as it's above 10, it's going to look pretty smooth to our eye. And that's what we need to know. All right? So, take this idea and play with it a little bit and see what you can do.